joined now by the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, Austan Goolsbee. Austan, great to see you again.
Great to see you again, Betty.
I'm sure you would have liked to have seen me on better numbers than this. Only 54,000 jobs created. You know, those who have been watching closely what the White House has been doing on jobs are saying, why are we still at these numbers? What is going on here?
Well, you know, the first thing I'll say, and I said it last month when we were 100,000 better than expectations, and I'll say it this month when we're about the same below expectations, we should never read too much into any 1 month's report. A moving average and looking at a little longer period is far more accurate representation of the job market. And there's no doubt we face some headwinds and hit a bump in the road. But in this circumstance, the last 6 months, we've added more than 1 million jobs in the private sector. The last 15 months, we've added more than 2 million jobs in the private sector. And that's a trajectory that we clearly need to do more. We've got to grow faster. But I think it's best to look at it in that context.
And you're right, Austan, that, you know, these numbers, these headline numbers have been jumping around over the last several months. But if you look at the jobless rate, though, it has stayed stubbornly high. Why hasn't the White House been able to get that jobless rate down?
Well, you know, over the last 6 months, it has fallen by 0.7 of a point. It went down a lot and then up a little. And so over that 6 month period, that is a pretty substantial drop in the unemployment rate. I mean, we've got to grow faster and generate more jobs to keep it coming down further. But the unemployment rate is not a thing that moves dramatically in any 1 month. It's a long, steady process to dig our way out of the worst recession since 1929. President's always said that. We got a long way to go, but the overall trend is substantially more positive than it was 2 years ago when he came into office, when we were losing more than 750,000 jobs every month. So I think, you know, the president's going out to Ohio today to talk about manufacturing and the U.S. auto industry. You know, 2 years ago, a lot of people were saying the U.S. auto industry was going to cease to exist and that we really shouldn't aspire to be having manufacturing jobs in the country. We ought to do something else. Well, meanwhile, in the last year, it's the best manufacturing job growth year in almost 15 years.
But we just lost 5,000 jobs in manufacturing, though.
Well, in 1 month. If you look over the last 6 months, if you look at anything more than a 1 month trend, manufacturing's having its best year in almost 15 years. So be careful just responding to the headwinds that we face for this month.
Austan, what do you say when we have, I mean, I get tons of emails from corporate executives who say to me, and obviously they all have their own politics too, but, you know, but they're basically saying, look, you know, there's such an uncertain environment. We don't know where taxes are headed. This is why you're not seeing jobs created. What do you say to that? I mean, what do you do?
Well, look, as I say, we've added 2 million jobs in the private sector over the last 15 months. So last month, we were 100,000 better than expected. I don't know what those executives said when we've been having multiple months of better than expectations.
But we could be doing better, though.
As you saw,
you could be doing better, is what
we should be. We will, and we will be. We must do better. The president has been trying to get the deficit reduction on the forefront so that we can eliminate some of the uncertainties there with a balanced plan that we can live within our means. You saw the president pass investment subsidies in December to allow expensing. And you've seen investment increasing at double-digit rates in the private sector, a payroll tax cut for 150 million workers. We launched this regulatory look back to try to get rid of outdated or costly regulations.
Right.
So we want the private sector to lead the recovery. The president's trying to lead that effort to eliminate whatever barriers to get them to invest.
And yet, Austan, though, it's a deficit reduction plan, though, that includes raising taxes, which may lose more and more, I guess, attractiveness at a time when it seems like the economy is hitting a really soft patch.
Well, wait a minute. We tried the Bush approach of let's cut high-income taxes, and if that was going to create growth, then you got to explain why did we have the worst recession since 1929. We tried that approach. It didn't work. The discussion about the tax rates going back to what they were under Clinton is not for this month. We're talking about a 10-year long-run deficit reduction package. It's not in the patch of this month for sure.
Austan, I got to go, but it was great, or we have to go, but it's great to talk with you as
Nice
always.
talking to you
I'm
again,
sure
Betty.
we're going to debate again next month. Austan Goolsbee at the White House.